Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Javier.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Javier Garcia with the Academic Advising Office. We're going to go over some information, kind of how advising is done at Chico State, kind of go over some course selection options, as we know that it could be challenging at times. So we're going to look at that, and also some strategies and resources related to course selection. And basically, the whole idea is to hopefully help make you guys feel more at ease on how advising works. We know that at the end of the day, sometimes it comes down to, hey, did I get my classes? And so we understand that transition's not a one and done. We do expect some bumps in the roads, and we always suggest students come into our office at least once a semester so we can kind of look at things. We kind of look at things through a different lens. And so with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and get started with my presentation. I will open it up for questions at the end if you guys have any. And so I have you guys for a few minutes, and so let me know if you guys have questions at the end. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll get started. Okay, everybody, hopefully you guys are able to see my screen here. Our Office of Academic Advising specializes in general education. We are the home of undeclared. We help students with major and minor exploration, as well as course selection, along with a lot of university and policies and procedures, which is why I was saying I do recommend students come in once a semester, because we look at things generally through a different lens. We do have a dual advising system here on Chico State campus. And so essentially you have us, which are focused on general education, but the students also have a major advisor. And so if they have any questions related to their major, we always suggest that they connect with their major advisor as well. And kind of as a group, as a team, we'll coordinate how we're going to help the student best to get them to degree. So objective today is kind of to go over some general education and some grad requirements, and hopefully provide you guys with some tools and outlook. So when you guys help your students at the end of the day today, hopefully you're going to be a little more informed. They're going to get a lot of information, and so it can be overwhelming. And so hopefully by the end of this presentation, you're going to be very clear on what's expected of your students as far as GE and degree requirements, and hopefully be able to help answer some of their questions. Things to keep in mind is we frequently get asked, hey, what is a unit? What does that necessarily mean? 1 unit adds 1 hour of class time per week. And so we always multiply that by 3 for total class expected time is relating to homework, any projects, as well as time in class. Anything below 6 units is considered part-time. Anything above is considered full-time. And if you're a financial aid recipient, 12 units or higher is needed for full-time financial aid students. GE is referred to as general education. And lower division, which is what everyone should be enrolling into today, consists of 1 200 level classwork. Upper division, which is anything 300 or higher, is going to be more for a student's junior year, senior year, right around in that frame. We're going to kind of look at different forms or ways of course selection and double counting. And so this is our, I understand, very initial confusing GE planning sheet, which your students will have one of these as well. We did simplify it by taking out these degree requirements. As we know, if students come in, we are kind of looking at these regularly to make sure they're not taking classes that aren't needed. And so we're looking at these middle and then the far right column of boxes. GE is 48 units, 16 different areas, all 3 units for the most part. So 16 times 3 is how we get our 48 units of GE. This area A right here is basically the only area of GE that has a grade requirement that has to be a C- or higher. Also, I want to point out this English A2 area and Math A4 area. Every student needs to attempt an A2 and A4 area during their first year. And then you have your B area, which is our sciences, our US history, Constitution, American ideals, make our 7th and 8th on this front side. And then you got these grad requirements, which are diversity requirements, 1 USD global cultures, which is diversity within the US or diversity globally, as well as our 4 writing requirements. These grad requirements are met through course selection. So to take a look at that further, we're going to go to the back side of our planning sheet. So these are our other 8 classes. A student normally is going to grab 1 class from each row for their lower division. And so if you look at this C1 area, they can take anything in this row. But if you look at this first column here, you got the Art History 130 with the USD behind it. That's a way of double counting classes. And so if a student were to choose that, they would cover the C1 area. But if we go back to the front, that course is going to also meet this USD grad requirement. And so those USD writings and global cultures are sprayed throughout this whole backside of our GE planning sheet. They also can be met in some of the majors. So just keep that in mind as they're going through course selection, the ability to possibly double count some of these grad requirements and course selections with GE. So if we go to what we refer to as our degree pie, all our degrees are 120 units. And so we're looking at psychology and exercise physiology. And so out of those 120 units, 48 of those units come from GE. The major, we're looking at psychology, which is referred to as a lower unit major, has 41 units. So that leaves 31 units, which is referred to as electives, to meet the student's 120 unit degree requirement at a minimum. And so if you compare that to exercise physiology, they still have their 48 units of GE. The major has 70 units, so it only leaves 2 units of electives to meet their 120. And so we always suggest for students who have, or any student in general, but especially students who have a lot of electives, to either pursue a minor or consider a second major. They truly can take anything within our university catalog, but those are some of the recommendations that we make. So a realistic course load for today is we always recommend the first year students to be enrolled into about 12 to 15 units their first semester. The campus communicates with students, letting them know that if a student, since all our degrees are 120 units, if a student's averaging 15 units per semester, they're on a 4-year pace. You got 15 and 15 the first 2 semesters, for 30 their first year, that's 60, 90, and then 120 after 4 years. But I also know that that could be a heavy course load for some students. And so I always like to suggest you can use summer session, where you can take a 3-unit summer session, possibly, so that would allow the student to take 12 units this first semester if they chose to, possibly 15 the second, and then enroll into a 3-unit summer course to keep that 15-unit pace. And so today's students should be enrolling, as mentioned previously, into all lower division 100, 200 level coursework, whether it's in GE or the major. Electives are okay, especially if your student's thinking about a lower unit major. And then take only positively of what you haven't taken. That refers to more with incoming students frequently will have AP credit. They will meet with their peer advisor and they'll be shown, hey, this score, this passing grade for your AP test meets this credit here at Chico State. And the idea is if your student is either scheduled to take the test or has taken it and is not received a score yet, and then they can possibly, you know, the suggestion is wait until you got a score or know that you positively have to take that area. And so there's plenty of course options within GE to not risk taking something that you don't necessarily need. So today at about 2:30 is the first opportunity that your students will have to register. And so that is just for today's summer orientation attendees. It will close at 11:59 tomorrow. Starting, and then it closes again. And then the August 3rd and through August 5th new student registration date, this is for all new incoming students, whether they attended summer orientation or not. And then it will close on the 5th. And then it will reopen August 10th through September 4th, which is referred to as our add and drop period. And this is now everyone attending Chico State, continuing and new students will have a chance to enroll August 10th through September 4th, which is 2 weeks before the first day of school and approximately 2 weeks into the semester. I would like to highlight this July 29th fee payment deadline here. So to point out, this July 29th comes before these August registration dates. And the important part about that is if your student hasn't paid all your fees, then all your classes will be dropped, and there's nothing we can do to get that back. We'll just have to start anew. And so make sure you pay attention to the fee payment deadline so you don't miss it and you don't have to worry about your classes being dropped. On the other side to that, one person's misfortune sometimes is another student's opportunity. So students will come back and register on this August 3rd and 5th date, and you will see course options that were not previously there because students had all their classes dropped. This is from our homepage. It's kind of highlighting here our parent portal. So the university will solely communicate with the student unless the student allows their parent access to certain information, whether it's course options, financial aid information, any communication that the student may receive. You can go to your parent portal here and kind of see what access you have available potentially to you. But again, you do have to be invited to that through the student's portal, but you can find out more information about it here. So that's all I have for you guys today, but I would like to open it up to any questions if you guys have any.